The manifestation of truth and light, which is the other side of love, brings delight to the soul. This is the greatest gift of grace received in revelation and insight. This delight is, however, always the precursor of the darkest desolation, empty and grey. The very instant that God's Spirit of love pours into our hearts to enthrall and delight, another spirit, the Accuser, also pays attention. Naked we stand before the Accuser, revealed and unmasked, inviting us away from the truth and the light, with promises of riches, power, and prestige in this worldly kingdom that stands opposed to the kingdom of God. This is the dark night of the soul that purifies our intentions, demanding that we make a choice. Jesus points us to the way into the solitude and the silence of the desert, joined in our humanity, so that we also may make our own choice. This was the way Jesus cared for his own soul in times of overwhelming distress and grief. How he taught his disciples, and finally how he prepared for his own death on the cross. For Jesus, the wilderness was a place of preparation, and is a place of making decisions. In this worldly kingdom there are all kinds of distinctions between our created society, age, wealth, fame, public image, or rankings that we use to slot people into. Nearly every society in the history of this world has developed its own ugly caste system. Circumstances of birth, wealth, privilege, and education have divided men from men, men from women, and ourselves from nature itself. This is the kingdom of the world as opposed to God's kingdom. In the kingdom of this world we see sin and evil intertwined in a deathly embrace, just as there are two strands of insight about the nature of evil as a result of half-hearted virtue as opposed to radicalized overkill. So there are two understandings of the nature of sin and evil, a burden that we carry or a debt to be repaid, the Babylon effect used by the Accuser. For our soul to return to the grace of God's delight, it is necessary that we expose within ourselves that confusion between the nature of God and the nature of the Accuser. In this confusion it is God who becomes the Accuser, the avenger, and the tyrant, marking each deed for retribution, seeking to rob us of our humanity, to rob us of the kingdom of God, and finally to rob us of our divine destiny. This confusion, this transpositioning between the nature of God and the nature of the Accuser, robs us of the joy of the gospel. This confusion strips our lives of light, truth, and beauty, and the beatitude of God's delight, turning God's good tidings into a condemning missive of eternal servitude and final destruction. The call is always urgent. Change your hearts and have faith in the good tidings. The Lord grant you peace.